Oh boy, we are live. We are live. Okay. So I decided just to do this. Why not? A little bit spontaneous, and I know my hair's all messed up. I just got back from a workout, so bear with me. Yeah, it's a good workout. We did hour and a half, 5 mile run, push-ups, sit-ups, pull-ups. Just got back and have work in about a half hour, so wanted to kind of make this quick video. And I was reading a little bit yesterday about success habits, uh, traits of the uber wealthy, and I thought I would share that a little bit. But yeah, some interesting thoughts there. And I just had my birthday, which was a lot of fun. That was really cool. Girlfriend surprised me with a few different treats. But let's get to the training. Traits of the uber wealthy. So this was an interesting thing. I was listening to an audio that you can't find anywhere else. It's one of the mastermind groups that I'm a part of that I definitely recommend, and I always post in the description, so check those out. Wealth of information. But they talked about different personality traits, financial traits, and there's a few traits that I wanted to talk about that you probably haven't heard anywhere else before, and very interesting to me. Things that you always want to find the common denominators. Those common denominators are like a template. They're a template you can use to put into your own life to get to the same results. There's a lot of, I'm sure there's uber wealthy that, you can't recreate every single thing. There's some people that, I don't know the exact percentage, but some people inherited their wealth. Other ones had different traits though, that took themselves from where they were to getting to that level. And that's the things you want to focus on. Okay. So what habits did they have? What mindsets did they have? If you've seen my channel before, I definitely talk about 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Great book to have. I've talked about The Law of Success in 16 Lessons by Napoleon Hill. That's another great book that talks literally about these. I'll talk about that a little bit. He got this amazing commission from Andrew Carnegie. Over 20 years, looked at the turn of the century, the top richest, successful business tycoons. And he basically spent 20 years on a book putting together the common denominators. Now it's, 100 years ago, I think it was the 1920s. So it's a little bit old school verbiage, but universal truths are still universal truths. So this is a little bit different, but I would always be looking at those things. Look at your strengths, look at your weaknesses, use your strengths, but be improving on your weaknesses and focusing on that. So you get better. And if you raise one, you're only as strong as your weakest link. If you raise one, the whole chain gets stronger as a result. So just some thoughts. As always, I have my coffee. It's a great morning. It's a beautiful day in sunny San Diego. So on to the training. All right. So I was listening to this guy who is a serial entrepreneur. He talked about the acronym DRIVEN. So DRIVEN, DRIVEN. And each one of those words represents a certain word that is personality traits that he's found to have, like the uber wealthy. Number 1. So if you look at DRIVEN, if you are taking notes, and now actually a little like kind of cool memory technique. If you're listening to anything, listen to it first, then go back, listen to it again, and then take notes. And then if you really want to go even better, you want to put this into TechnoTutor. And if you want to go even further than that, you teach the information to yourself. So there's a lot of ways. Definitely recommend TechnoTutor, by the way. If you haven't, check out my video that I made recently about that, where I shared results that I've really doubled income in the last year. A lot of cool things. Anyway, DRIVEN. Number 1, decisive. Uber successful people are decisive. You have to make decisions. They definitely look at all information kind of going on. They ask questions. They look at the entire board. If you look at, say, a captain of a ship, captain's going to want to know, all the systems going on in his ship. So he looks at the speedometer. He looks at how much gas, how much oil, if there's any leaks. He's always looking at everything. He has a bird's eye view. He looks at the entire thing, but he does make decisions. He's not wishy-washy. And I know that for me, that has been a problem in the past. And that's something I need to work on, is being more decisive on things, where I'm always like, there's a great thing called, a lot of people just do the poke it with a stick method. They want to poke it with this stick and see if it even works. And in reality, uber successful people make a commitment, they make a decision, and they go full in. And, it's not until later down the road that they might diversify, but they are really decisive on what they do and they put their whole heart into it. If anybody watches Parks and Recreation, my girlfriend's a huge Parks and Rec fan. Ron Swanson, who's one of the comics in the series, even talks about, don't do two things half-ass. Do one thing full ass, which makes me laugh, which is a great way to put it. So decisive is one personality trait. Number 2, routine. So we're looking at driven. D is decisive. R is routine. Routine. You need to have a routine. Routine is really building a system throughout the day. And you want to change up your routines. You always want to take a look and see if it gets stagnant, but you want to have a routine that you're doing all the time that it's giving you better results. Okay. I have a routine. I'm really good at a morning routine. I need to work on my evening routine. Sometimes the evenings just get away and I need to get better at that. But my morning routines are pretty well done. And to give you an insight, what I do for my morning routine, and this is by trial and error over years that I've seen the best way. I get up in the morning. I am into affirmations. I usually work out. I work out in the morning, half hour to an hour. Today was an hour and a half. I drink water. I basically meditate. I do TechnoTutor for 30 minutes. I do tapping, which is an interesting technique. Think of like acupuncture, but without needles. And I read. And sometimes I journal. And I also this sounds like a lot, but I actually fit it usually in. The workout usually takes about an hour, and then the rest I fit in within another hour. TechnoTutor is probably the biggest thing you want to work on, because that really changes your entire system and your thinking, right? So it really gets you completely ready for the day. And the workout, obviously, for health. And I also write down my to-dos. I write down my top priorities. What are the big 3 things that I have to? Somebody's asking about cybersecurity. We'll definitely talk about cybersecurity on another video. But for this one, this is really just self-improvement in general. And lost my train of thought. Anyway, you want to have a routine. You want to definitely have a routine. So those are some of the things that I've done that I've noticed huge improvements over the last year. And if you guys haven't heard my story, definitely check out the TechnoTutor video. That was one that really showed you basically all areas of life I was able to increase. By the way, I know a lot of people are job seekers looking at that. If you watch that video, I tell you how I got now 4 job offers in the last 2 weeks. I just got another one yesterday. It was really weird. Oh yeah. See, is it Aro? Aro? Is that your name? Aro, very nice to meet you, Aro. Thank you again for tuning in. I appreciate it. Anyway, so number 3. So we had decisive, we had routine, and then we have the I means introvert. Now, he actually clarified this a little bit. It doesn't mean introvert as in you're completely non-social. Introvert meant more the personality type that has to deal with metrics and analytics. Okay. They're very numbers oriented. And if you watch, I just from my own personal life, I have a friend who is a really well-known venture capital CEO. This guy knows numbers like nobody's business, and he's able to look at any type of problem or business, and he's a consultant to other CEOs. And sometimes he gives me too much credit because he thinks I'm on the same page, which is very nice and flattering. He's very smart, but he's very metrics oriented. He's looking at the small things. If you ever want to look at something, look at unit economics, where you're looking at the smallest number. I also watch the show The Profit, where the guy basically, Marcus Lemonis, he is CEO of Camping World, and he goes into failing small businesses and kind of fix them. Very similar to Kitchen Nightmares, if everybody's a fan of that. I love the show, but he looks at the numbers very, very carefully. And if you look at what a spreadsheet is, it's really the health of your organization, your business. So a lot of uber wealthy people, they know their numbers. They know the income coming in, the costs, they know everything kind of going on. So you want to start getting used to being aware, at least. You don't have to be a pro, but you want to be aware of the metrics going on, even if it's your personal finances and your business finances. Number 4, this might be longer. Gotta make sure I'm okay on time. Number 4, vision. You gotta have vision. You got to have vision. A lot of people look at the top, the big picture of things. They're not looking at the, what's going to happen. You do want to look at daily to maximize and optimize your day, but they do look at long-term, like wealth and the betterment, and what they were going to create. Like Elon Musk is a great example. He's looking at things like he's looking at space. He's looking at, now electric RVs. He's looking really at the big picture. I think he just came out with, he's going to be creating automated robots. So, if you see my other videos, I definitely talk about that. Automation's coming, guys, in every area. If it's repeatable, it's going to get automated. So, vision. A lot of people, there's an old axiom of, there's two people, one person has like an acorn, and the mentor basically said, what do you see? Right? And a usual person's example, if you looked at vision, depth of vision, it would be, oh, this is a tree. This could become a tree, right? And a uber wealthy person might say instead, I see a forest, right? Big differences on just vision. And so you want to have vision, length of vision, 2 years, 5 years, 20 years, a lifetime. Where will this be? If you look at all the uber successful people right now, Jeff Bezos, Richard Branson, Elon Musk, they definitely had vision, and they're all, funny enough, in space vision. But yeah, they've had vision. They've had things that they've been working on for decades. Jeff Bezos with Amazon, that wasn't overnight success. That took decades to become. So vision, having that vision. Number 5, expansion. Expansion. Always be expanding. Basically expanding yourself. You want to be expanding yourself. It's, self-improvement versus self-perfected. You really just want to be expanding yourself in any type of form. In a lot of big ways, financial, relationship, health. I really talk about the emphasis of vocabulary, but you always want to be expanding. Number 6. So we've gone over, let's recap, driven, decisive, routine, introvert, which is really like metrics and analytics, vision, expansion, and now N as in network. Your network is your net worth. Okay. All the uber successful people all have a solid network. They have people they can call. They're professionals in every industry or every area. I know the importance of networking. Being a recruiter and hiring manager myself, I've gotten some of the best opportunities from my own network. And, it is creating those relationships with positive, like-minded people that will take you far. And, when I was getting my MBA, I learned way more from my network, from the people that I was surrounded by myself with, than the teachers. Nothing against the teachers, but my friends and colleagues actually had different perspectives and could teach me different things. And I learned just so much from that interaction. So some examples of that, right? And then the job market, it's not what you know, it's who you know. Very, very true, funny enough. If you want to get a good job, that is one way to kind of go. All right, so we're running out of time here, but we talked about personality traits. Let's talk about financial traits. Let's talk about those financial traits. There's actually more than I had originally on the list. If you look at these 16, the law of success in 16 lessons, one of the biggest things that he talks about, there's 2 in there actually. Well, there's the mastermind, excuse me, and the habit of saving. A lot of people don't realize the habit of saving, and you want to be saving at least minimum 10%. 10% of your income you want to be shoveling away. If you look at the richest man in Babylon story, that talks about the habit of saving. If you look nowadays, I think a lot of people have gotten more wise to the advantages of compound interest in investing. So a big trait of uber wealthy is they save money. They don't just save money, and that's the thing. Like they do keep it away, but more than average, invest it. They keep it in something that's going to be an appreciating asset that is going to have compound interest that's going to pay them down the road. Okay. I could talk about that for a long time, but just planting a seed on that. Second financial trait, this is the uber wealthy now, top. They have a cash cow. They have a residual income machine. They have something that's giving them residual income that they don't have to work for, that's separate from them, that now just gives them income all the time. Trump, for example, whether you love him or hate him, he inherited $1 million of apartment complexes, right? And while he was building his hotels early in his career, he had that as a source of income coming in where he didn't have to work. And also, it's kind of a peace of mind. It allows you to take that money, put it into other projects, or invest it in other opportunities. That's kind of how the uber wealthy work. If you another cash cow, Howard Hughes. Howard Hughes was the one who kind of the forerunner of the. If you ever watched the movie The Aviator, Howard Hughes was a huge business mogul, and especially in aviation. And he actually owned like a lot of entertainment companies, everything like that. But a lot of people don't realize that his family had a patent on a nickel and dime patent on a specific screw for a hardware store. But because that thing was manufactured all the time, it gave him and his family this residual income cash machine. And he used that money and he spent it into his aviation business, his entertainment business, I think some hotels. Fascinating story. But if you look at kind of some common denominators of uber successful, that is something that goes on. We talked about the importance of having a network. A lot of these people have their own mastermind group. They have a network of similar titans of industry individuals. And in Law of Success, for example, he talks about like all these guys who are the titans of industry, who are the most successful people on the planet, all met together in different areas. And I know there's a little bit like, okay, conspiracy theory stuff, but it still happens. A lot of the billionaires these days, they know who each other is, and they talk routinely. So that's a few on the personality traits. That's a few on financial traits. I could go in forever on a lot of these things. Let's talk about bonus traits, things that you will not hear anywhere else. And this is kind of the cool stuff. Let me just check the time. Oh, we got awesome. Awesome. We are doing good. All right. Bonus traits. If you don't know this already, definitely go back, watch the TechnoTutor video. But the bonus trait is vocabulary. Okay. Vocabulary makes a big difference with the uber wealthy. So there was a study in 1995. Okay. It's called the 30 million vocabulary gap study. It's called by Hart and Risley. And what they found in 1995, they looked at a ton of different families from all walks of life. And they actually recreated the entire study in 2017. But they found that the average kid growing up in a family, okay, there is millions of words of difference. And it's almost like you can see the difference in the vocabulary on what their success is going to be down the road. Okay. For example, the average amount of words a child on welfare is exposed to is 13 million. Very interesting. This is in the first 4 years of their life. The average person who's working professional family, the average amount of words that they're exposed to is 26 million. For the richest, the average amount of words that their children are exposed to is 45 million. The difference between the uber wealthy and the people on welfare, their kids who grow up to be also successful, is a 30 million word gap. I mean, that's pretty crazy to me. That's something that I've never really heard of. Now, I've been hearing more about this, and it is very interesting studies. So they did a study on the Fortune 500 CEOs, and they started looking at that. And the top 1%, and the top Fortune 500 CEOs all have a reading comprehension, a word comprehension, and vocabulary comprehension of about 600 plus words a minute. Okay, so their level of ability to comprehend, digest information. And I know that I gave the example of my friend, as well as Marcus Lemonis. You can see them do this in real time, where they're able to process everything, come to kind of understand what's going on, and then reach a solution in record time. And that's because the vocabulary in their mindset, their operating speed is just high powered. So you see this happening. They are able to process at a high level. So after looking at this other study of people that they can understand vocabulary 600 words a minute. Now, here's the thing. 80% of the world, if you look at third world countries, a lot of people are still illiterate. That's crazy. There's a lot of people still, the average reading speed that they stop is 6th grade in the US. In the US market, people can't go above a 6th grade reading level. That's the average. If you look at lawyers and doctors, they also found that reading comprehension and vocabulary comprehension of lawyers and doctors is between 250 to 400 words per minute. Okay. Very interesting. Now go back to what we talked about uber wealthy being 600 words a minute. Now for me, I did this test and I'll let you guys know, I don't mind. Mine was 256. So I was at the lowest end of the lawyer doctor. So it's probably good I didn't become a lawyer. But it was shocking to me on kind of figuring that out. Now, this is also an example of why I'm a big, proponent of TechnoTutor. One of the points of TechnoTutor is also to get your reading and comprehension speed not just to 600, but up to 1,500 plus words a minute. If you're able to have your mind be going at that kind of capacity, you're going to be at a whole new level. So why do I call this the bonus section? It, number one, gives you more vocabulary. There's like 20 million words in it, already pre-installed. And number two, your operating speed, your amount of words you're going to be able to digest, comprehend, and also recognize problems and come to solutions easier is going to happen more faster. So looking at all these traits, you want to have a higher level of vocabulary. You want to have a cash cow. Okay. You want to have a network. You want to start looking at these personality traits, being more decisive, having a routine, looking at the metrics analytics, have more depth of vision, expanding yourself, and networking with like-minded individuals, and ideally individuals who are, on the up and up. But anyway, that's a lot of what I'm talking about today. I hope this was really helpful, gave you some food for thought. If you want, we are offering, we're showing people how to get financially free through education. If you want to have some information on how to set up some residual income, if you want to have some information on TechnoTutor that I mentioned, feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to discuss. And if you're kind of not sure what that is, look at my channel. There's a video on TechnoTutor that I go in depth on what it is, how it's helped me, other people's results. Something to definitely take into consideration if you're ready to level up. If you want to change, if you're looking for another career, if you're looking for more income, if you're looking to just better yourself in general, definitely take a look. All right. So I know I'm kind of like the hair's a little crazy today because of the workout. Going to finish my coffee and then get to work on some of the fun tasks I have today. All right, guys, take care. Feel free to comment, like, subscribe, and ask me any questions and I'll be happy to help. All right. Cheers.